Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fight Me Bro betting show, UFC 256.
Is it 6 or 5?
5? I have no clue. I was taking a guess. I think it is 255. UFC 255. Davis and Figueiredo versus Alex Perez. With the co-main event being Valentina Shevchenko versus Jennifer Maia or Jessica Maia.
Damian Maia's cousin.
Is that really?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
fuck. You could have totally got me.
I have no fucking clue.
I should have known better. It's like, oh, yeah, that's like telling me like all the Silva are related in Brazil. I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, and if you guys haven't been following along,
good.
We're hot starting COVID for like the first 6-7 months of COVID. Last 2 months has not been so great.
It's been bad
on all the chalk that's been going around, but I'm down bad. I went 0 for 3 last week with losing my lock.
1 for 3.
And it would have been 0 for 4 probably, but they canceled the fourth fight. So I'm glad that they didn't. Hasn't been so good, but I haven't felt this I wouldn't say confident on a card, but I haven't at a
you're jinxing it early.
I haven't, yes, I am jinxing it early, but I haven't looked at a card recently where I'm like, ooh, there's a lot that I want to bet on. Like I've been trying to this. I don't know how much I love them. But there was a lot of bets that I'm like, oh, I got to bet that fight.
That's what I said to. So my brother and his friend are like, oh, these fights are kind of average, and I'm like, they are very average. Like I don't know, depending on what I'm doing on Saturday, I don't know if it's going to be appointment television. That said, what I did say was a lot of juicy betting.
Yes,
a lot of lines I looked at, and my eyes they piqued my interest. And by the size, I've been throwing out I've been pretty standard on the 3-bet card lately. Or doubling that. Like this is my biggest card I've had in a long time, for better or worse. So we'll find out momentarily, I guess.
This is the one where it turns around, and let me tell you, I need it because, like I said, I placed a futures bet that Donald Trump was going to win at like plus 150. Put a whole bunch of units on it. And
hey, that's not over yet.
I know it's not over yet. Especially, have you looked at Fox News, OAN? It is far from over, according to them.
Dude, we're gonna be counting votes in March.
But my bookie won't have me pay up until they're done with all of this fucking hoopla. So I'm like, I gotta make that money quick before I have to pay that huge bet that I put on Trump. So I'm already in a hole that hasn't even cashed in yet. But I have, what is it? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have. Oh, I thought I
don't even know how many bets.
I have 6 bets.
So much goddamn action.
Yeah, I know. I have 6 bets in 5 fights. You have 6 and 5. Well, I'll let you go first to start things off because you seem like you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready. Hey, I was the only one with 1 single W last week, so I'm totally right that I lead this off. We're gonna start pretty low on the card. Well, let's get right to Antonina Shevchenko and Ariane Lipski. We're going dogs and. Bark, because the card is full of dogs for your boy. We're bucking the trend. What goes up must come down. It's law of averages. There's
water always finds its level.
Water finds its depth, whatever. Insert metaphor about odds are going one. The table runs cold. You name it. We're doing it this week. Ariane Lipski, first of all, I don't think Antonina Shevchenko is that good. I think she had some knees in the clinch one time that really impressed me, and then I looked past all the other glaring holes in her game. Honestly, well, obviously no one's going to wrestle in this fight. They are both not that great at grappling. Ariane Lipski did have that sick knee bar, but she put herself in a calf slicer to get that knee bar in her last fight. But so we're not going to have any problems with the ground game. I think if somebody ends up on top, that basically means the fight's over or that round at least is over for the person on bottom. But I'm just going with power here. I think that Lipski hits harder than Shevchenko, and Shevchenko just been wholesomely unimpressive. So if you're going to give me plus 140, this is a coin flip fight, and you're getting someone at plus 140. Take the plus 140. Lipski's locking in the first dub of the night.
I couldn't agree with you more, which scares the shit out of me right from the gate. Lipski at plus 140. Shevchenko, I think we've established that she should not be the favorite in any fight. Like, I think she's got a couple, like, she's just going to be one of these back and forth fighters. And I think everyone thinks like, oh, Shevchenko, they see Valentina on the same card. I feel like these girls they've fought on the same card a couple times and they never won. Like,
I think it's actually only once.
Oh, okay. Well, Antonina definitely lost.
What's fooling you is the kick routine.
Yes.
That they do regardless of which one's fighting.
which is badass. It's so stupid and badass when they're kicking in sync and then they spin and then they kick on the other side. And I'm just like, God damn it. I'm like, that looks so cool. And they're so in sync, but it's like, that means nothing for the fighting. Antonina is a pretty good kickboxer, but I think Lipski's actually a better kickboxer. And like you said, more powerful and violent. I am a little scared because Lipski is a little bit more dog shit at wrestling and takedowns
Oh,
compared to
dude. What?
Shevchenko.
You
I
think
think
so?
slightly, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to make a difference.
I just don't think anyone's even going to attempt to wrestle.
Yeah, probably not. If Antonina was smart, she would, but she just
I don't
wants to
think
go
she
out
knows
there.
how.
Yeah, I think she just wants to go out there and kickbox. So yeah, Lipski, what is it? The Queen of Violence?
Yeah, Violence Queen or something
Violence
like that.
Queen.
She's also Lipski's on the Baywatch, so you can't really bet against that.
True. Yeah, people sleep on Lipski. That's a name that I haven't like. I feel like people were Baywatching her like a few months ago, and then she kind of lost a few, and people like stopped caring that she was hot. I'm like, wins and losses don't decide how
Yeah,
hot
no,
you are.
the Baywatch doesn't get ranked by wins and losses. Folks.
Exactly. We show no bias for records, and she's
Yeah.
smoking hot. So yeah, I like Lipski plus 140.
All right.
Yeah. What do you want
Moving
for a
on.
second?
All right, moving on up. This one we're straying from the dog strategy, though. I will say, I know I just made the barking and was real emphatic about that, but we're gonna ditch that. I'm taking your boy Paul Craig.
Oh my God.
Minus
As a
170.
favorite?
As a favorite, I'm taking
Oh,
Paul Craig
shit.
against Shogun. Paul Craig's 3-1-1 in his last 5. The one draw was the Shogun, and he got knocked out by Alonzo Menafield, who, like, is Alonzo Menafield great? Debatable, but he hits like a truck. That's not debatable.
Yeah.
The other 3 wins, all subs. So he's like younger 30s. Shogun is 38 with hella miles on the body. Look, 2 old ass Brazilians ain't getting it done in the same month time span. I like Shogun's got, he's like shot, right? Like he's so fucking old.
I want to say yes, but I've
so
also been
bad.
calling Teixeira being shot for years.
I know, but like Shogun had to wrestle this dude last time to like steal, like he was taken down and laying praying. Paul Craig.
And who did Shogun just beat last? It was some other old fuck, wasn't it? Was it Little Nog?
I think so.
Which it's like, yeah, he looked old as. I know he didn't look as old as Little Nog, but like those were too old. That was basically the Robert De Niro fight, or what was it? Fight night, the Robert De Niro, Al Pacino
grudge match. Yeah, Robert De Niro sliced alone.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, it was basically
his last few fights. Okay, dating back to 2018, July 2018, got KO'd by Anthony Smith. Then in December of 2018, he KO'd Tyson Pedro in that shit fucking fight. Then last year, he had the draw with Craig, and then early, like in July, that's when he beat Lil Nog and looked old as shit. Dude, he's just old. He's fat. He's everything. Like Paul, and honestly, I hate to say it because it is Paul Craig, but like, look, Paul Craig is not elite, but he kind of has looked better, and he's beating up like janitors, but he's looked better beating up the janitors.
He has, and he's made like marginal. It's just he's such a like recklessly dumb fighter. I feel like he does things that just don't make sense at times, and it's like, dude, just go out there. Like you guys drew the first time, and now Shogun is much older. Like he's aging in dog years compared to you. You should be able to go out there and game plan and fucking do what it takes to win. And that's what makes me scared because Paul Craig, I never know what the fuck he's doing in there.
I never do, but man,
he knows what he's doing.
I'm betting against the old heads, man. The young guns owe us, and Paul Craig's not even that young, but the young guns owe us one back for that Glover Teixeira bullshit. So
Lightning
Paul
doesn't
Craig minus
twice in
170.
the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Craig minus 170. Punch that ticket.
Yeah, no, don't hate that at all. My next one, this is going to be in the Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Royval, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay. Probably fight it like.
This is going to be scrappy.
Probably outside of the 2 main events, the next most exciting fight. This is actually an exciting fight at 125. All the fucking MMA Twitter heads are coming their pants for it, and rightfully so. Brandon Royval has kind of looked like an up-and-coming star in his first 2 UFC fights. I think 2 finishes by submission.
Has been all the way down.
But Brandon,
time.
What's up?
I just realized my brightness has been all the way down the entire time. I'm like, wow, if I turn that up, it makes the lighting look so much fucking better. Okay, continue.
But like Brandon Moreno, I think his low key actually became a good fighter. I don't know when it happened. He went from being just a brawler that looked like an absolute psychopath to a kind of decent striker that's also a complete psychopath. And so I think there's gonna be fireworks. At the end of the day, I think Royval's I haven't seen enough from him to write him off as not a hype train. You know, he comes out here, he's fucking reckless, he's subbing dudes. I think it's easy to get caught up in all that, but Brandon Moreno actually looks like he could potentially be the champ in the weight class. You know, like he's shown me enough. It's like he's been through some
That's some
wars.
high praise.
Yeah, I don't know if he beats Davidson Figueiredo, but I think he deserves a shot at it. Especially in his last, I think his last 3 fights have looked pretty impressive. And then I think in that Askarov fight, that's the first fight that I'm like, oh, maybe Brandon Moreno is good because Askarov is no slouch when it comes to grappling and did a pretty damn good job of negating that. So I don't think the grappling is going to be too much of an issue. And I think if it stays on the feet, Brandon Moreno is going to find a way to piece them apart. So at minus 185, got to go with Brandon Moreno. Also, it must be noted, great fucking nicknames on these two. Brandon Raw Dog Royval and Brandon,
Know that.
what is it? Assassin Baby Moreno. Fantastic nicknames.
Those are strong nicknames.
Very. I mean, now I wish we shout out our unofficial rankings from 2 or 3 weeks ago where we did best fighter nicknames. Raw Dog might have made it for me. So it's hard for me to bet against Raw Dog.
That big oversight on our part.
But deserves an honorable mention.
Okay. Moving on up. I'll take the bait on this one. I debated having it on the card, but it's a number that I just can't ignore. Kaylin Chukagian plus 230.
I was going to guess. When you were introing that, I was going to be like, this is going to be Chukagian.
Yeah, against Cynthia Calvillo. Like, Cynthia Calvillo being this much of a favorite over anybody is kind of surprising to me. I get if you do a little MMA math, this doesn't look great. Calvillo did beat the piss out of Jessica Eye a few months ago, and Jessica Eye somehow beat Caitlin Chukagian, which I still don't really understand. That said, I guess this is just one of those fights where I'm confused at the path to victory. Like, Cynthia Calvillo doesn't hit hard enough to, like, she doesn't hit like Andrade. So Chukagian's good there. I mean, that's one of her things. She gets fucking smacked up in the face by Valentina and then just chucked to the ground off sheer clinch force from her. And then she gets nuked by Andrade. It's like, okay, Calvillo doesn't offer either of those things. Calvillo a good bit shorter than Chukagian. So it is a good bit shorter. And like I just said, doesn't have the Hulk-like strength of either an Andrade or a Valentina. So I don't necessarily see Calvillo shooting like a double, working around to a body lock and then suplexing her to the mat. Don't really see that happening. Calvillo's look, Jessica Eye's boxing is not great, which again is indicting to my case because she beat Chukagian, but Cynthia Calvillo's boxing is not that great. So something tells me Chukagian is just going to hi-ya, long kick, straight kick, long jab her way at plus 2. Like, if this is an even money fight, realistically, I probably would err on the side of Calvillo. But dude, it's 3 rounds. Chukagian's actually pretty decent off of her back. She actually is like the work with Danaher has showed.
Yeah.
In a couple of fights recently where she's gotten put on her back. Whether or not she gets the sub, actively looking for arm bars. Calvillo is someone that's going to put herself in danger on the ground to give. And she is a great scrambler. Don't want to take anything away from Calvillo, but she's a scrambler. And so, like, if Chukagian puts a top lock on or something, like, she'll have opportunities to throw arm bars up. And she's long, and she's got, like, there's leverage there. That'll work. At plus 230, I'm taking the bait, man. Can't ignore that number. Plus 230, I'm thinking like a two rounds of one. We're gonna do a nice little decision here. Dogs, like I said, dogs are a barking.
This one's jumped out at me. I couldn't believe it was at plus 230. Like it should be like probably minus 130 plus 150. Like I don't know where it kind of strikes me as a trap line, but I think the thought process, I was trying to logic, I'm like, where is this coming from? And I think it's because people are like, oh, one, Chukagian has had 2 bad losses in a row, but look who they were 2. They were Valentina and Andrade. All right. Those are no slouches. And I think people are seeing like, oh, Andrade is short, grappler, hits hard. Calvillo's pretty much like that. Yes, although there are similarities between the two, like you said, they're not the same fucking thing. Calvillo does not hit nearly as hard, and she's not nearly as much of a bull when it comes to grappling. It's not like she's going to be able to go out there and just ragdoll Chokagian
Yeah,
like Andrade was able to do.
no
Plus,
chance.
coming up from 115 as well, like I think you're going to be able to, like, when Chokagian lined up against Andrade, it was astounding how much of a fucking height and length difference. Now that ended up not mattering that much because Andrade just gonna fucking jump right in and just what was it, a knee to the body or was it a
No, it
strike to
was
the
a
body?
hook. It was just a
Yeah,
liver shot.
where it's like she's not gonna give a fuck. But like Calvillo has recently fallen in love with her striking, and I 1000% see her being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out and try to outstrike this girl that has about 7 inches of reach on me." And Chokagian is gonna eat her up all day. And like you said, I think like I'm not going to take away from Calvillo's back takes, but I feel like they're more like her grappling is very intuitive. It's like she's just a good grappler that like finds herself in good positions, but I don't really know how many layers there are to it. It's not like the John Danaher system where shit's getting set up and there's traps in this. It's like she's looking for an opportunity and trying to capitalize. And
Very
Chokagian,
alpha male
yeah,
embedded
exactly.
still, even though she left there a while ago.
Yeah, but you don't fucking lose those roots. And I think Chokagian, like, I trust her grappling enough that, like, yeah, she may find herself in a bad position, but she's gonna have the right defenses to it, unless it's something like that's so blatantly like, oh, I caught her with some shit. So I think 2-1. Like maybe there's a round where Calvillo is able to like get the match to the ground, but I think for the most part, you're gonna see some range striking, a lot of hayas, a lot of teep kicks. What I don't want to see is Chokagian trying to make a fucking point and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the offensive wrestler and I'm gonna try to get this body lock
Yeah,
in," like
no,
like
no,
she
no,
was trying
no,
to
no,
do with
no.
Andrade. And I'm like, no, don't enter that fucking game. Just use your length, use your reach.
No, just hayas.
Yeah,
Haya.
edge out. Don't fucking like. Don't abandon the what got you there. Okay,
It,
like
you're
get a
you're a
split decision.
2.5 to 1 favorite. Do the gamblers some service here and just get us this dub.
Yeah. So
And
I think you'd be an absolute moron to bet on Calvillo at minus 250. Like that's just horrible value in a pick.
yeah,
You either stay away from this or hammer Chokagian, but do not bet on Calvillo. Even if she does win, it is not worth the risk of like
no,
250, 275. Like that is way too steep of a line. Do not
absolutely
play that
not.
number.
Absolutely not. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, we're on the same page for most of these. Let's see if we keep this rocking because I have a feeling the fight that we both have 2 picks in is probably somewhat similar.
Yes.
But before we get to that, we got to let the rest of the dogs out, bro. Tim Dirty Bird Means plus
Ooh,
135 fighting Mike Perry. They
I forgot this fight. Fuck.
Dude, see,
I
when you said
totally
Brandon
forgot this
Royval
fight.
and Brandon Moreno or whatever are fight of the night, I agree that's going to be a barn burner. But watching to see what's her name, Latori Gonzalez,
Yeah.
what you seeing what Coach Gonzalez has cooked up for Mike Perry in the corner? That might be the can't miss TV moment of this fight.
What if her
Here's
just
a
water breaks in between rounds? That would be something. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so here's the logic here. I think that Mike Perry is clearly mentally a fucking psycho, which we've known for years now. But to some degree, I think we all were kind of waiting around to see, like, maybe he is just going to be that guy that goes out there and nukes people, and which he is basically is what I'm getting at. And he has not developed at all. Like we've thought, what if he adds some layers to his striking, and what if he gets like some wrestling going and stuff. I mean, he wrestled against Mickey Gall, but that's Mickey Gall, and it's like
I think
he hasn't
people
really
assumed he was gonna like, okay,
improved,
he's young, he's gonna get better, and then it's
and
like,
he has
oh
not.
no, he's gotten worse.
Yeah,
Like,
right. So he's gotten worse, and Tim Means is still a crafty motherfucker, man. Like that dude he's all like Tim Means' biggest detriment is the fact that he's 36, has been in some brawls, and just the
has
guy
no
is
chin
not
anymore.
exact. Well, he's got a little bit of his chin comes and goes. He's got one of those weird chins, but no one's mistaking him for Yoel Romero in the streets. And I don't mean because he's not black. Like he just the guy is just as average gets in terms of athletes. But dude, Tim Means is a guy that like he puts it together. Like he's got like a couple Darce chokes. He's got some guillotines. He puts together good elbows in the clinch. Like almost, you know who he's like less powerful Matt Brown almost kind of in the
Mhm.
clinch. He put Thiago Alves away with some real nice combo work. Well, I think he actually submitted Thiago Alves, but before he submitted him, he put him up. But I just basically, if Tim Means just doesn't get fucking nuked in this fight, I think, and by that I mean if he can last a round and a half, Mike Perry's just going to do what Mike Perry always does and just swing random hooks and try to do really robust athletic movements that really have no thought behind them, gas himself out halfway through the second round. And as long as Tim Means is still there, it's just going to be sharpshooting time. And I really think you're just going to see one of these guys as a schooled, at least to some degree, striker, and the other one is just he's going to try to rip your fucking head off, which is totally fine. Like, he might get nuked, but again, what goes up must come down. Tim Means plus 135. Dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it. I'm running with the dogs,
I love
man.
that bet. I totally forgot to put that on my card. I'm a man of integrity, so I will not be adding it to my card, but I will be placing that bet. Tim Means is just a way, way, way better fighter than Mike Perry. The only problem is Mike Perry has the ability to knock him out.
Yeah.
And like that.
So it's problematic.
Like, it makes for an interesting matchup because it's like no one's questioning who's the better fighter. It's just there's only one way that
Mike Perry. Caveat.
Yeah. And it's like, and Mike Perry, as much as there's a lot of things you could say about Mike Perry. One thing you cannot say about him is that he doesn't hit hard. He hits like a fucking Mack truck. It's been a while since he's put some away because of the whole, getting worse at fighting thing. Basically because he's not training with anyone. So hopefully the whole, I'm just sparring with my girlfriend. Like, I saw a recent fucking video of him just hitting pads. It is really bad. Like, his striking is getting worse and worse.
Man, Tim Means plus 135. It's not on my card. I don't want it on the record because, like, look, we just gotta summit a little bit of the mountain. But night of, I want to see what this dog parlay pays out. Not the worst thing to look into. But yeah, so Tim Means, that's my last one before my double.
Okay. Well, then my last one before my double is it's just going to come in the main event. It's going to be Figgy over Alex Perez. I just don't know enough about Alex. Like, I haven't seen enough from Alex Perez. He just had the law. Like, this is MMA math, but it's like, oh, he did lose to fucking Benavidez, and Figueiredo just made light work out of him. At the end of the day, like, the best highlight that I remember from Alex Perez is the fucking leg kicks of Formiga. Yeah, they must be fucking strong, but Figueiredo's not going down the leg kicks. And Figueiredo hits like a motherfucker. And I just think he is like he doesn't overcomplicate his game. It's not like he's going out there trying to be this fucking like super skilled fighter. It's like he knows I hit harder than these 125 pounders, so I'm only going to look to counterpunch you. And if he has 5 fucking rounds to drop Alex Perez, he's got to fucking hurt him.
And he's also really, people like don't give him credit enough for his wrestling is whatever it is.
Yeah,
he's a really good mat scrambler.
Yes. Almost like, I don't want to give too much credit to Calvillo, but like Calvillo-esque where it's like he'll just end up in better positions.
Yeah. He had Benavidez, like he was rolling through some arm bars that I was very impressed.
Yeah. So like, I just don't see like where Alex Perez beats him, like I haven't
don't see a path to victory.
Yeah. Don't see a path to victory. And there's way too much like a path to like getting hurt by Davis and Figueiredo because the guy, he fucking puts people out. So that one's minus 270. I thought it was going to be more than that. So as soon as I saw it drop below 3, I'm like, okay, it was 350. Like I was seeing earlier. I was like, no chance. 270. That hits in the sweet spot for me. So nice little mix of underdogs and favorites. But then for lock of the week, I'm sure we have the same. What do you got for your lock?
Well, maybe not the same, but I had to go. Look, I'm not going to cheat all of you and just lay down the 1400 or whatever the fuck it's climbed up to. The lock of the week is going to be Valentina by KO. That's minus 115. I cannot believe it's minus 115. I had to imagine that was going to be a higher number than that, but it's only minus 115. So I'm just going to go with the KO line. And then the other, my double on this one is the fight starting round 2 bet. Round 2 starts only minus 350, which is kind of crazy to me. So I kind of like that. I mean, again, 350 is steep, but like, is it that steep? And so, yeah, I mean, really, Maya is 3-2 in the UFC, missed weight 2 fights, 2 wins over Alexis Davis and Roxy Modafferi. all this chick does is like, dude, she's missed weight. She's just a bigger bitch. Like every time, not saying bitch like in an offensive way, but as in chick. She's Dude, she's just bigger. She just like kind of bullies people around, and it's like, dude, you're not gonna play bully ball with Valentina Shevchenko. It's just not gonna happen. And so, but that's her thing. That's like all she's got. So if she wants to win this fight, so basically Jennifer Maia would have to completely fight not like Jennifer Maia to not get knocked out here, because she's either gonna A, be running into punches the entire time, in which case she's gonna get Jessica-eyed, or B, she's gonna do that for at least a little while until she decides maybe I should try some jujitsu. Like I did submit Joanne Calderwood. She's gonna try to clinch up with Valentina and then quickly realize that Valentina is not Joanne Calderwood, at which point she's going to get flung to the ground and just a whole elbowed in her face. And the problem, or why, and I just think that that's going to take about a round to feel out and then catch that gauge. And then after that, we're just at cruising speed from round 2 on. So I like the round 2 starting. I think we're going to get the classic Valentina feeling out process. And then I think that eventually she's just going to bust that ass. And
if you're going with minus 115 for KO, I wouldn't hate the bet of just going with inside the distance at minus 175, because then you got covered for submission there too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, my card says KO, so men of integrity on this show. I'm not going to change it on the fly, but I didn't even see that. I saw KO at minus 115, and I was like, yeah, it looks good.
For mine, see, I am going to cheat you guys all. I need to see the ball go in, man. I think I'm 2-3 weeks out fucking locked. Valentina Shevchenko, minus 1,300.
Lock of the week. You got 130 bucks lying around. No big fucking deal.
You got an extra 1,300. Fucking go out. You'll buy yourself a steak dinner with that $100. But then the backup, I was going back and forth because I'm like, man, I feel like I almost took her because I was trying to do the math. I almost took her inside the distance and by decision. By decision is plus 310. And I know Valentina has fucked on some people, but I did a little research. So Holly Holm, decision. Then the next one, Juliana Pena, armbar. Next one, Nunez, decision, loss. Cachoeira, submission. Joanna, decision. Jessica, KO. Liz Carmouche, decision. Caitlin, TKO. She's been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. TKO,
man, decision. I didn't see that, and
that's what swayed me. I'm going fucking decision.
I love a good pattern. I love a good pattern.
Because it was going to be, for me, that's why I was looking at the inside the distance. I was like, am I going inside the distance or am I going? Because I was trying to do the math. I'm like, if decisions plus 310.
Oh, you were going to try a daily double. Like
I was just going to go by decision and inside the distance because I think that's better odds than minus 1,300. But I'm not good enough at math to be able to fucking figure out what was the units amount. Because there's no way that's accurate, right?
Yeah, those numbers seem a little off, but I don't math that much. So.
Exactly. Because it's like if it's plus 310 and minus 175, there's no way that's going to equal out to minus 1,300. I feel like that's just a loop in the system, but I'm too lazy to figure it out. So I decided to pick a side. Plus 310. Anytime you're getting plus odds in Valentina, like might as well take a flyer. You're already going to win the $100 off of putting up the 14. So,
Well, so now in this instance, you would want to put up the 2,800 so that you get a unit on top. And then in case the
decision happens.
So and then, hey, with that 28, with that extra $200 you get, then you can take someone out. You can, not only do you not have to eat alone, you can have a date.
Yes, exactly. Totally worth it. There's no fucking way. Like there's no way Jennifer Maia.
There's no fucking way.
There's
ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
Mask off. Mask off. Ain't no fucking way.
Yeah. So those are our picks. Feeling good about the picks. It's been a while since we've had one of these, like just firing them off. Because quite frankly, the cards haven't been worth it. So those are our picks for this week. If you love them, tweet at us. If you hate them, tweet at us. We want to hear your picks. So until next week, you can find me at Broliva. You can find Nick at _Againagi, and you can find us both at Below the Belt MMA. While you're there, make sure to check out our latest podcasts. We had Brandon the Truth from MMA Twitter, also known as Brandon, what is it, Nokate?
Nokate, I think.
Yeah, Brandon Nokate. Funny dude.
Brandon the Truth, man. Everyone knows Brandon.
Yeah, it's Brandon the Truth. That's what everyone fucking knows him as. We did our rankings of top 5 best fights of all time. And it's funny, on Twitter today, I saw a lot of people being like, what are your top 5 favorite fights? And I'm like, those motherfuckers, they just saw what we fucking posted and decided to just change the words a little bit, but we're the original. So fucking go out there, listen to it. We honestly had some great fucking fights, if we're being perfectly honest.
Definitely some worth watching back. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, until then, until next week, peace out, y'all.